Okay, so we're going to be beginning in just one moment, so please take your seats. If you have any electronics, phones, tablets, or otherwise, please place them on silent at this time. The time is now 7:31, and this meeting will come to order. Welcome to the Town of Forest Heights Council Work Session Meeting. Today's date is Monday, August the 7th, 2023. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Hines. Councilmember Browson.
Here.
Councilmember Noble. Councilmember Kennedy. Council President McDonald.
Here.
Mayor Lilly.
Present.
We do not have a.
We don't have a quorum. Do we have any other council members who are attempting to get into the webinar at the moment?
Well, let me call.
You hear me, right? Correct? Can you all hear me?
Yes, Councilmember Brownson, we can hear you. Yes, thank you for being
Okay.
online, ma'am. Mr. Or Madam Clerk, could you please see if you can reach another few council members to see if they're able to get in? Thank you. We'll have a brief recess while we attempt to get the other members into the meeting. Bear with us, please. All right, Madam Clerk, can you call the roll when you have a moment once again, ma'am?
We have Councilmember Hines.
Present.
Councilmember Browson.
Here.
Councilmember Noble. Councilmember Kennedy. Council President McDonald. Mayor Lilly.
Present, ma'am.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, we will have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Please stand. One moment. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Next, we will have approval of the consent agenda. I move that we approve tonight's consent agenda. Can we hear Council President McDonald? I believe she's second. I don't know if her mic is on.
Hello? Hello?
It has been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda for this evening. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? All right, hearing none. Motion passes. Next, we will have approval of the main agenda. I move that we adopt tonight's main agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt tonight's main agenda. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, at this time, we're going to have the swearing in of Mr. Marcus Jones as Town Administrator by myself. Mr. Jones, please come forward. So we are here tonight, and I'm really excited about this portion of the meeting because we're going to name Mr. Jones the permanent town administrator for the town of Forest Heights. But he has been serving in the interim role since this spring, doing a phenomenal job. And I think that's evidenced by the number of people that are in the room tonight, both from the town of Forest Heights and from other places where he's worked and done excellent work. So I'm really excited to be here and have some of his family members in the room. Is there someone you'd like to hold the Bible? We could have Mr. Jones's mom come forward to hold the Bible. Place your hand on the Bible and raise your right hand, your left hand on the Bible, and right hand raised. All right. I state your name.
I, Marcus Jones,
Do swear that I will
do swear that I will
support the Constitution of the United States
support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will
and that I will
be faithful and bear true allegiance
be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution and laws
support the Constitution and laws
thereof,
thereof,
and that I will,
that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of
execute the office of
Town Administrator for the town of Forest Heights
Town Administrator for the town of Forest Heights,
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of this state.
and laws of this state.
Congratulations. Well, let's sign it, actually. Let's you sign it first.
Do it again. Bend down. Look up. Look down. Okay.
And madam, you want me to get the sign afterwards, after our photo? Okay. Well, I will let you, actually, let's. All right, thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I would also like to add that in addition to being the chief personnel officer in the town and helping manage a transition to the digital sphere for many operations in the town, Marcus is also a recent recipient into the Certified Public Managers program at the University of Baltimore. And over the next year, he will be engaged with instructors and other leading public officials who work to streamline and to make town and local governance business work smoothly. He'll be side by side with those folks, learning the best practices that this state and this country has to offer. So we're very excited about the value that he's going to bring to the town going forward. At this time, I'd also like to acknowledge a few special guests that we have in the room who came to be with Mr. Jones tonight. We have former Mayor Calvin Washington in the room. We also have Mayor Kelly Porter in the room. Let's give him a hand. Mayor Kelly Porter from the city of Sea Pleasant. And we have a host of other friends and family in the room. Thank you all for being here. Next, we will have a discussion to fill the vacancy in the office of council member for Ward 1. We had a process that was different this time around. We've had several vacancies in Ward 1 over the years. Most recently, our former mayor, Calvin Washington, I've filled that seat. And we have another one as I'm now mayor for the town of Forest Heights. And so tonight, I would like to present and give an opportunity for our candidate to come and speak both before the council and before the community. Let's have a round of applause for Miss Shawnice Little. And if you could, ma'am, just yes, you can come to the podium here and you want to walk around the other side? Yeah, walk around the other side. That works as well. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Yes. Is the podium already on for her to speak? Okay. You can stand in front and face this way. That's fine. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, so I was not prepared to speak today.
That's totally fine. What I ask that you do is just briefly tell us about your history as a resident in Forest Heights and summarize some of why you'd like to be considered as a candidate to replace the vacancy.
Okay, so my name is Shawnice Little. I've been a resident here in Forest Heights since 1998. I went to school at Flintstone Elementary, as well as Oxon Hill Middle and Oxon Hill High. So I am very acclimated to the issues and what's going on in our neighborhood. I love the town of Forest Heights, and I definitely feel like I can bring creative new ideas to our town to kind of help us grow. I also have a daughter that's growing up here in the town, so I would also like to see our town flourish so that we can, the next generations can grow up and have a beautiful town to live in.
Very nice. Thank you, Miss Little.
Thank you.
Well, the fact that you are raised in the town of Forest Heights, attending the schools that our students go to, that you've remained here and that you're also raising your daughter here, commendable. I'm glad to hear that you love the town of Forest Heights, because I do, and so do all the people in this room. At this time, I want to open the floor up to council. Council members have any comments or questions for Ms. Little at this time? I'm giving a few extra moments because I know we have Councilmember Brownson online just in case she has anything.
No, I do not have anything at this time.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Well, thank you, Ms. Little, for being here. Okay, next we will have reports. And the first report we have tonight is from the town treasurer. And as you may know, since our last meeting, we have engaged the services of a firm called Alta CPA, and acting in the role of treasurer, we have Mr. Todd Frankenfield, who is a partner at that firm. He helped to prepare a report this month which outlines the cash position of the town and also the expenditures for the town. Mr. Frankenfield, since this is your first time actually attending a meeting, would you just like to give a brief introduction of yourself and your firm for residents and council, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Would somebody let me know you can hear me?
Give me just one moment.
Okay.
I can hear Mr. Frankenfield, but I want to make sure everyone else can as well.
Yeah, just checking. Everybody else can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yes, go right ahead, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, good evening. All, my name's Todd Frankenfield. I'm a CPA, been a Maryland CPA for 13 years. I was a founding partner of our CPA firm. We're about 6 years old. You are one of our latest municipal government client. Most of our specialty is in nonprofit accounting and municipal government accounting. I'm excited to work with you. I've had the opportunity to work with the team over the past couple of weeks and kind of understand the processes in place. Had a little bit of time to review the 24 budget. As we move forward, now it's just about streamlining our processes and our documentation flow, so that we can give you up-to-date financial information as timely as possible. So that being said, I'm going to do a quick review of the cash activity for the first month of fiscal year 24. As far as revenues, I believe there were 2 pretty significant grants that came in from the county in July. So we saw an increase of about
I believe that we're experiencing the internet difficulty on our side. I saw the screen say our connection is unstable.
Yeah, and I can pause.
Mr. Frankenfield, if you can hear me, we're having difficulties on our side with the connection. Let me just have you pause one moment just to make sure we have a stable connection because we want to get everything that you're saying.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. We're good. Okay, so you can continue.
Okay, I don't know how much of that you heard, but I'm going to start with just talking about the cash activity for the first month of the fiscal year.
Absolutely, that works.
So I talked a little bit about revenue. The most significant revenues in July were, I believe it was 2 county grants that came in to the tune of just north of $1 million. I believe the total was $1,040,000. Some pretty significant speed camera revenues, about $127,000 that came in during the first month of the year. And then expenditures, not much to point out there. Everything was on track, looked in accordance to budget. Town spent about $626,000 to end the month with a net cash position of just under 2.4 million, or $2,362,000 and some dollars and cents. So I'll stop there. Just confirming you can hear me and making sure if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to.
Thank you, Mr. Frankenfield. Council, does anyone have questions for Mr. Frankenfield on the treasurer's report for this month?
Well, I'm on a line. This is Councilwoman Brownson, and I didn't get a chance to look at the disbursements. So in your report, are there disbursements for the month of July?
Yes. So, and I can start on that report. So the second report we prepared was spending by budget category for the first month of the fiscal year. And I can, if you don't have it in front of you, I mean,
I can look at it later. I just want to make sure. I know the package came in late and I haven't looked at it, so I'll get a chance to look at it and ask questions later.
Okay, great. No, nothing to, the first month of the fiscal year, it's pretty much business as usual. As we get later into the fiscal year, then we start talking about budget revisions. Everything looked as expected. didn't see any variances, but again, still getting my arms around the full 24 budget and what to look for. But the activities out there, please let me know if you have questions.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I think we got the introduction on the revenues. Did you have any comments to add on the expenditures additionally, Mr. Frankenfield? I know Councilmember Brownson asked the question. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I think we're, as we get a little bit deeper into our process, we'll do a little bit better job, with our information flow. But for the first month of the fiscal year, I think we're in a good spot.
Thank you, sir. Next, we'll move to the report for the Department of Public Works. Mr. Belnavis.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
My report will start with the photograph that you all have seen on the report. Has to do with the Cree Drive project. Booth Specialized Service began work at the intersection of Sachem Drive and Sachem Lane. They moved a dead tree on the island at the guardrail next to Route 210. Then proceeded to the top of Cree Drive, where they removed dead trees and limbs from the power line, starting at 210 and ending at the circle. They also removed dead limbs on both sides of the circle at Cree Drive towards 113 Cree Drive. We can now see clearly from the top of Cree, 23 dead trees were removed at that phase 1 portion of the job. Phase 2 portion began on Friday, April 28th, 2023, starting at 1 Cree Drive, starting with the removal of low hanging branches, 2 dead trees, at least 50 feet tall from the power lines. After the following was completed, the above was shredded and blown into the woods. The second a tree from that person's address. It was then taken to 606 Modoc and replanted. The third picture had to do with the City Hall, the new project that you're seeing, this beautiful deficit. And it had to do with under the direction of the done beautifully, and the colors from the scheme, everything was just perfect. The third has to do with the gathering space. If you notice the colors, it was meant to be for the enjoyment of the public, children especially. The poles was just an idea that we could use the space without having to put a building there, and it just for the public enjoyment. And that's the end of my report at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Belnavis. And before I open it up for questions from council, I just wanted to run through that really quickly. On Cree Drive, Public Works removed trees that had been growing up into power lines along that whole street. And in the past, they've proven to be an issue. So during a walk with residents on Cree Drive in the beginning of July, we identified a number of trees that needed to be removed for safety reasons and Public Works was able to get that project done in about 2 days. We also had a tree that was near a resident's walkway and was going to be causing issues. So we were able to get that tree out of her yard, but we kept it. And now it's a part of the park or the field that's behind this municipal building. And you can see the improvements to the municipal community room that we're in right now, new paint and upgrades that have happened in the lobby before you came in tonight. So I just want to thank Public Works for that. Are there any questions from council on the Public Works report for this month? Okay, well, hearing none, we will move to the next report, which is code enforcement. Mr. Green, do you have any highlights for code enforcement this month?
It's pretty straightforward in the report. At this point, there's no real highlights except for the fact that those cases that are marked closed that have numbers next to them, those are cases that went to court, and those were cases that we won, and those were the fines that were paid, which was a total of $4,500 for the month.
Are there any questions for the code enforcement report this month from council? Council President McDonald.
On page, this is page 3, where, so there weren't any fees for those items that were closed on page 3.
The ones that have no numbers next to them, those were brought into compliance before the court dates or by the time the court case was called.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, Councilmember Brownson or? Okay. We will next move into the Ombudsman report. Are there any questions for the Ombudsman's report this month from council? Okay, next we will move into the Youth and Community Outreach Bureau report. Mr. Holland, if you could just give us a very short synopsis on the 2 events you participated in last month.
Yes, so we hosted the long anticipated Mahogany Bookstore event where the council member came out and spoke with residents and offered 1 free book for each participant. Mahogany Books was very excited for this partnership and is looking forward to more partnerships with the town in the coming months. We also spoke about doing a potential book club with Mahogany Books. No further details on that, but that'll come out as it becomes available. And then we also did the intro to culinary, where we had the Affordable Housing Coalition students come. It was a summer camp. We did cupcake decorating and frosting making for those students. And we also would like to do one for the Forest Heights POW camp up next. And one of the biggest things that we're doing for August is myself partnered with Officer McCleve to get 1,000 book bags donated to the town for the coming school year. So we're still working on dates to disperse those, but McCleve deserves a lot of the credit for that. He started this initiative and we look forward to supplying the students with these bags.
Thank you, Mr. Holland. Are there any questions for the Youth and Community Engagement Coordinator's report for this month?
I have a question.
Council President McDonald.
Yes. Regarding the Amazon Black Employment Network, can you help us understand exactly who they are?
Yes, so Amazon has a union branch called the Black Employment Network, and they are offering 150 book bags to the District 8 area. So we have RSVP coming out with the town newsletter as well as the District 8 newsletter. They're offering 150 fire tablets for ages 6 to 12, and then 150 book bags. We weren't able to get the mandated book bags for high school students, so these will have to go to elementary students.
So this event is set to take place on August the 17th at 11 a.m. where?
At the Southern Regional Technology Building.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Yes, and I have a question.
Yes, Councilmember Brownson.
Yeah, I'm raising my hand, so I don't mean to just jump in, but I'm raising my hand. Can you see my hand raised?
I can, yes. I'm sorry. I might have missed it earlier. My
No, I
apologies.
just want, no, I just didn't want to feel like I'm just jumping in, you know. I have a
Yeah,
question.
we're in a hybrid format today, so I understand. It's okay.
Yeah. I have a question about the Mahogany Bookstore event. Do you know how many children from Forest Heights attended? And did you all provide transportation for them to go over to the harbor to get the books? I know they had talked about that earlier.
We supplied an add-on for all participants to RSVP for the town bus to transport them to the bookstore. No one took advantage of that. As far as the actual number of youth that came out, we don't have that exact number, but there was a few youth that came out to take part in this event.
So you had a sign-up list for the students, for the children from Forest Heights, but no one signed up?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
You had a sign-up list for the children in Forest Heights to participate in the Mahogany Bookstore event, but no one signed up? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
we had them sign up. Yes, we had them sign up, but there wasn't we had the parents sign up for their students. We weren't allowing people under 18 to sign up for themselves.
Okay. But no one signed up.
If I could jump in, I just want to get a clarification. Was it people signed up to get a ride to Mahogany
No,
Bookstore?
no
Was it
one
just
signed
to,
up for the
but
children.
the sign up list you had was for folks getting a ride, or was it for people that actually were going to attend?
Both. So there was an add-on for the transportation, but no one took advantage of that. But we do have a list of the participants that came out, and I can get that sent over to the council if you would like.
That'd be excellent. Yes, please do that.
Sure.
If you could, within the next few days.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Council Member Brownson, do you have any other questions?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Council President McDonald.
So I do understand that the entire, I guess, amount that was allotted for the event was not completely taken advantage of, right? So there's an opportunity for us to engage the youth again around the same type of event.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So we only tapped half that budget, and we spoke with Mahogany Books about potentially doing another one after the school year starts.
Thank you, Mr. Holland. Any other questions for Youth and Community Engagement Coordinator's report? All right, we will next move to the ARPA Project Manager's report. And Mr. O'Connor, could you give a 1 minute synopsis?
Sure, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. All right, on Delaware Drive, it was fully evaluated for the request related to speed humps, and it does not meet the criteria based on the ordinance for speed humps. So that project is not being presented to move forward. The 85th percentile speed was 26 miles per hour, and the average speed was 28 miles per hour. That was conducted by radar by myself. Continue to work with the police chief for the installation of our traffic enforcement systems. There was an install of a security related system in which in a public setting, I'm not going to go ahead and brief, and that's more on the police chief to go ahead and handle that. In great news, we have $850,000 that is being moved forward to the Appropriations Committee related to Black Hawk Lane for that project. We're waiting to hear back on that from the feds. The Arapahoe Drive stormwater and project is moving forward. This one is very important because it is going to impact residents significantly during this project. I'll get into that in a second. We are now working on the 15th and 16th annexations for the town. Those projects are moving forward. We have one at legal review. We conducted the pre-bid conference for the Youth and Community Engagement Consulting firm. Mr. Holland, Officer Coleman, and the town administrator helped me conduct that pre-bid conference, and we're waiting for the proposal to be submitted by the deadline. Our grant for $304,000 related to the RTCC has moved forward to the hard copy phase with the Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention. Our memorandum of understanding for Highway 210 with the state for maintenance is now with legal. We did receive that back from the state. I would like to thank everybody for their help and assistance on helping me get that move forward. Let's see. Creed Drive, which is very important. Mr. Belnavis, myself, and of course, Mayor, you were out there for the initial walkthrough. Mr. Belnavis and I went through and we did a detailed analysis of the site. Mayor and Council will find several photos attached to my report along with a capital improvement project sheet, which details the overall scope and cost it'll probably take to revet the Creed Drive area. Tecumseh, Blackhawk, those roads are really what's affecting Creed Drive related to the stormwater management based on the topography within the town. So once I'm given the go-ahead, I'll start putting the RFPs together and the scope of work that's going to be required to take care of those stormwater management issues. The one for Seneca Drive for the sinkhole. That street is going to be closed beginning August 9th. And it's the community gathering space traffic plan that we have in place. So I want to say that again, Seneca Drive at Sachem is going to be closed. There will be no access to that roadway for the duration of the sinkhole repair. So residents will have to go up to Delaware Drive in order to access that portion of town for the most immediate way. Then we have beginning September, the Arapahoe Drive projects. All right. And that is going to be in the first week of September. I want residents to be aware, Mayor and Council, that there will be hard and soft closures on roads from Modoc Lane to Arapahoe Drive, Alden Way, Shawnee Drive, from Livingston Road to Modoc Lane, Alden Way, the 600 block of Pitt Lane to Arapahoe Terrace, and 5902 Arapahoe Terrace to the dead end drive of Arapahoe Terrace. So residents that live on Arapahoe Drive will have to access their residence from Pitt Lane. This is the comms team is working on full communication with all the residents that are going to be affected. I'm working with the town administrator to make sure this is clear and concise for all the residents. If there's any questions, we're going to be available to access them. But I do ask patience while the construction is underway that there are going to be hard road closures where people will not be able to access. I think that was 1 minute and 30 seconds, but I'm sorry.
It's okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Are there any questions for the ARPA project manager's report? I see Councilmember Brownson's hand raised. Ma'am, please go ahead.
Thank you. Yes,
You're
I
welcome.
have a question about the road closure on Seneca Drive starting August the 9th, which is 2 days from now. How long is that going to be closed?
At a minimum, I'm anticipating at least 3 weeks for the full scope of the work as the pavement is taken up and the sinkhole is repaired.
So have the residents been notified?
Yes, working with the comms team and the VMS board is being put out for the closure where residents will be notified there. And I'm working with Mr. Belnavis on that. We did have a staff meeting and it is being communicated. It'll also go out in the newsletter so residents are aware. Mind you, on August 9th, that is a soft closure. And a soft closure just means that, you know, it's going to be open somewhat. The minute they bring a piece of equipment on, which is anticipated August 14th or earlier, between August 9th and 14th, it's going to turn into a hard closure, which means no access to that section.
So on that note, could we, well, I know you're already working on this, but I'm sure Councilmember Brownson thinks as soon as we can get information out to start spreading the word, let's do that. And I appreciate the soft closure so that folks will be aware and we can use that as time to educate those who don't attend the meeting or who don't see the newsletter or who are otherwise busy. And so let's do that and take the posture. We're trying to educate folks as well in between that August 9th and 14th date, since it's very close to the present.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Did you have any other questions, Councilmember Brownson?
No, sir.
Any other council members have questions about the ARPA project manager's report? Okay,
I do.
Council President McDonald.
Ms. O'Connor, can you help us understand the grant writing where you've authored a grant to the governor's office for $304,000 to fund public safety and the Real-Time Crime Center?
Working in collaboration with the chief of police, I think it would be best for him to elaborate on the full scope of the Real-Time Crime Center and what the effect of that is. But basically, there's equipment that's needed for the Real-Time Crime Center and staffing that supports that. This $304,000 request from the Governor's Office of Crime Control Prevention details out the specific equipment that is needed to support the Real-Time Crime Center, as well as the personnel, limited personnel that would support the efforts of the Real-Time Crime Center. I don't want to step too far into what it actually is and what it does, just based on the security nature of some of it. I feel more comfortable with the chief explaining that portion.
I'm sorry, Chief Reese, did you want to add comment briefly?
Yes, I can briefly add comments. For the Real-Time Crime Center, it's basically a location where the police department can funnel data and really try to dive in and see what can we do to serve the residents of Town of Forest Heights a little bit better, using the data that we are retrieving from the cars, from residents that's inputting data from their cell phones, calling in, and to really make sure that we're really pushing out the resources that we really need to for a specific situation. Now, though, the reason for the dollar amount is to make sure that we have the proper equipment to push out that information to the residents. That's basically more communication equipment. The personnel, I can say maybe a little bit more on a staff person to really drive that data into where it really needs to go. We have pushed that information to various departments such as Public Works, Finance, yourself as a member of the council, to really push any type of situation that we may have here in town and funnel that to where the resources where it needs to be.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from council on the ARPA project manager's report? Okay, next we will move to the police department's report.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. For the police department for this past month, we've done a lot about the PAL program. PAL is really dear to my heart. I really appreciate it. I want to publicly thank Officer McLeod, who really kind of took the PAL program and made it into a summer camp. And so, as you see in my report, the campers went to the African American Museum, and they also attended the Woodmore Wildlife Center in Bowie. This is one of the few things that that we wanted to do for the residents of the town of Forest Heights, to really give the students, while they're out of school, education. We've actually, some of our officers are DARE certified. Some of us remember DARE from elementary school, and really kind of do an education moment for them. So the POW unfortunately is ending. We've been spending roughly about 3 weeks with the youth, and it ends this Friday. But this is a program that we want to continue. This is a second program. We did the spring break camp, and now that we have the summer camp, but this is something we want to continue here in the town of Forest Heights. Moving in further in my report, I'm proud to say that our officers have been diligently working out in the field. We've recovered in 1 month 16 stolen vehicles that have come through our jurisdiction. That is, I can proudly say with the data, that is more than what our counterparts of our other municipalities in Prince George's County are recovering in the per capita in this area. We've also, with that, recovered 6 illegal guns. That's with a person that we've come in contact with, have an illegal gun, and we've taken them in custody. So that is what our police officers are doing here in the town of Forest Heights. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Reese. Are there any questions from council on the Forest Heights Police Department's report for this month?
I have a comment.
Council President McDonald.
I have a comment. I just want to give a shout out to Officer McLeod and some of the other police officers who have shown interest in our young people and have engaged them. And I actually was able to witness their interaction with our young people. So I just wanted to make note of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President McDonald. I echo your sentiments. Is there anyone else, any other council members that wish to ask a question or speak? Okay, we'll move on. Next, we'll have the town administrator's report. And Mr. Jones, our newly sworn in town administrator, would you like to provide a brief overview of your report for this month, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My report is brief this month. We spent the month of July trying to close out FY 23, gather the necessary financial documents. In the midst of trying to onboard Alta CPA, Mr. Frankenfield, and get him everything that he needed to dive into the outstanding audits and financial reports that are due to the various federal and state entities. Our office also facilitated the onboarding of one new public works employee for the month of July that the council approved. We have been continuing to review and rewrite all of the job descriptions, the personnel manual. We have dived into the development of the credit card usage policy, which we hope will be published by the end of this month. We completed the town hall, well, this phase. We'll be diving into the first floor facelift. That proposal will be to you guys in September. So we can get that part on track and fix this internet issue that we're clearly having, and focusing on Forest Heights Day, which is just over 30 days away from us. My office also went on a community walk with the with the mayor for our Creed Drive residents, and the project manager and public works director to deal with the erosion issues and stormwater management on Creed Drive. So hopefully that'll be rectified in the coming months. So it won't be a quick fix. And that is all for my report this month.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Are there any questions for the town administrator's report for July from council? Yes, Council President McDonald.
Mr. Jones, one question on the vacancy for the police officer. Do we have a status on that?
It's my understanding that they have applicants in the process, but they have not made it to the point to select a final candidate yet.
And the two for the AP and the part-time admin?
The accounts payable interviews actually begin tomorrow morning. They are scheduled for what's today, Monday? They're scheduled for Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. So that person will be selected by the end of this week, and the information will be forwarded to the council. The part-time administrative assistant position has not been advertised yet. The person that held that position's last day was just on Friday. So that requisition has not been put up yet.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the town administrator's report? Okay, we will move on. Thank you, staff members. At this time, we will have public period. Is there anyone in the auditorium tonight who wishes to speak or provide comments to council? And if so, please come forward, state your name and your residence, and you have 2 minutes to speak. Please come forward, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Town Council, residents of the fabulous town of Forest Heights and the Forest Heights Police Department. My name is Kendall Wade. I am not a resident of the town, but I'm a friend of Forest Heights. For, I believe, the last 4 mayors, Mayor Goodall, Mayor Muhammad, Mayor Washington, and now Mayor Lilly, I have assisted the town in many different capacities, from advisor to funeral director to even Santa Claus. And in that time, I have worked with a number of people here in this town. And there is one person who it has been my privilege to work with. I actually left a meeting early to get across town to be here and try not to miss this evening, as you all swore in your new town administrator, Marcus Jones. I just wanted to say that Marcus Jones has been a very thorough person I've had to work alongside with. He's a very honorable man who would do the town justice as your town administrator. So I would have been remiss if I did not take the time to be here along with many other leaders across the county to say, good job, Mr. Jones, and we look forward to seeing the great work that will come from your time here as the town administrator. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening, sir. Please state your name if you could, and
Quincy Hines, the best ward in the city,
which ward is that, sir?
Ward 3. And I stand by that. I just want to tell everybody, good evening, how you doing? I know everybody was listening to, the reports, and you brave that you came on out. You can't always go with what they say. You better listen with cautious optimism, what they say. But I just want to say that Mayor Washington started this veterans group, and so Mayor Washington, we're finally getting there. And under the direction of Mayor Lilly, we're getting there. But I just want to say that anybody who's a veteran, would you please pass the word that we're getting together? And it's going to be custom made. It's not going to be already programmed to what we think you should do or what you should receive. It's going to be upon your needs. So just pass the word that we're getting veterans together. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hines. I was going to speak on this later, but since you brought this up, I'm going to bring it to everyone's attention right now. He's right. Former Mayor Washington appointed a Veterans Committee or Commission during his time in office. And as a former member of the Maryland Army National Guard myself, it's my pleasure to help veterans have their place in the town where they can come together, talk to one another, share, and begin to help each other solve problems, just celebrate. And so on September the 27th, under the direction of Mr. Quincy Hines, we're going to have our first Veterans Roundtable, which is going to be an event for veterans to come out and talk to one another in a trusted space where they can share their experiences, their challenges, and hopefully uplift one another. And from there, we're going to gather veterans' needs and what they would like to see us do in the town to support and recognize them. And we're going to make them a part of the town that's highlighted throughout the year, not just on Veterans Day. So it's a pleasure to see you here, sir, and glad to have Mayor Washington here. Thank you for speaking. All right. Is there anyone online who wishes to speak during public period? No one online. Okay, very well. Next, we will move into legislation. And first up, we have Resolution 68-23. And this is a resolution to approve a consulting services agreement with Greenwell Consulting Group, LLC, as the town's lobbyist, introduced by Mayor Troy Lilly. I move that we adopt Resolution 68-23. It has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 68-23. Is there any discussion? And I'll just provide a brief overview. Greenwell Consulting Group is a firm that the town has used for the past several years to advocate on our behalf, primarily in Maryland at the General Assembly in Annapolis, where state legislatures decide how resources are divided amongst localities, and also introducing legislation on the town's behalf to improve the life of residents, to give us as a council more options to pass laws or affect change in the community. And specifically in this most recent cycle in the 2023 session, Greenwell helped us to get a piece of legislation through the Maryland House and the Senate that gives the town urban renewal powers, which will allow us to deal with commercial blight within the town. Buildings that have been abandoned and that are not cared for and that are attracting crime, vermin, and other undesirable elements. We will have additional options in our toolbox to help motivate property owners to keep their property up to standard and to develop it so that it brings positive results to the town and does not look like a place that's abandoned that no one cares about, because we really do care about the place that we live, and we want business owners and other property owners to care as well. Secondly, Greenwell helped the town to secure $200,000 for our public safety center. Delegate Valderrama, who is our District 26 delegate, asked for the funding in the governor's budget this year, and they approved the funding. So we have had a very fruitful partnership in this past year. And just to speak about the specifics of this resolution, the cost for doing business with Greenwell has remained the same in this resolution. So it's already in our budget, it's budgeted for, and we plan to have some larger asks this year with Greenwell that hopefully will increase the unrestricted funding that the town has access to work on infrastructure and other public safety related initiatives. And with that, I'll open it up to questions from council. Councilmember Brownson, did you have a question?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
I just opened my mic so I can vote.
Okay, very good. Thank you, ma'am. All right, well, hearing no further discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Hines.
Yes.
Councilmember Browson.
Yes.
Councilmember McDonald.
Yes.
Excuse me, Council President McDonald. Mayor Lilly.
Yes,
Motion passed, 4 yes, 0 no.
thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, next we will have Resolution 69-23. This is a resolution to appoint a successor to fill the vacancy in the office of council member for Ward 1. This is introduced by Mayor Troy Lilly. All right, I move that we adopt Resolution 69-23.
A second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 69-23. Discussion. Okay, hearing none. Madam Clerk,
Yes,
please
sir.
call the roll.
Councilmember Browson.
Yes.
Councilmember Hines.
Yes.
Council President McDonald.
Yes.
Mayor Lilly.
Yes,
Motion passed, 4 yes, 0 no.
congratulations, Council Member Shanice Little. For those who are not aware, since this is an appointment, our newly appointed council member Shanice Little will serve in Ward 1 as the council member alongside Council President McDonald until our next regularly scheduled election, which is going to be in March of 2024. So congratulations, ma'am. Welcome. Let's give her a hand again. Well, that concludes legislation for the evening. Next, we'll move into reports. And first, we'll have council member reports for Ward 1. Council President McDonald.
So I have a few items. The first is I am moving forward with discovering recertification for Sustainable Maryland for the town of Forest Heights. The second thing is in support of the Healthy Heights initiative, we'll be hosting a back to school bike ride. And the third item is I have submitted an application through MML to join the Parks and Recreation Committee. I have a heart for our parks and trails in South County. And so I thought that that would be an opportunity for me to move forward with that. Also, September the 9th, Ward 1 council reps. Now that I have my second ward rep with me, Shanice Little, will host a meet and greet to provide updates to residents on capital improvement projects, as well as other initiatives that are going on, and those things that have been highlighted with the projects that Mr. O'Connor mentioned earlier. Those residents who might be affected, we could, share that information with them at the meet and greet. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President McDonald. I have just one question. What's the date for the bike ride, just so we can get that on our calendar?
Yes, so the date for the bike ride is August the 20th. And we'll be meeting at the gathering space, going to Bell Acres.
And what time will we?
So we said we were gonna do 10 to 12. We started out saying 11, but we realized that we probably need to do it earlier. So we're doing 10 to 12. May not be as long as 2 hours, but that's the time frame.
Okay, so August the 20th, did I get that right? August 20th? Am I saying that correct?
August 20th.
August
yes.
20th at 10 a.m. beginning at the community gathering space, which is next to Henry's Soul Food, and going to Bell Acres Park.
Mhm.
Very good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Ward 2, Councilmember Brownson.
My report is gonna be kind of in coordination with Ward 1 and 3, because Ward 1, Council President McDonald, Ward 3, Councilwoman Hines, and myself, we met on Friday to, with Officer McCleve and Pastor Davis from the church to move forward, trying to implement and get all the schools in the Forest Heights corporate limits free lunch for everyone. And so we're working on a strategy. We're gonna start from the ground up and work our way up. We initially started working from the school board, and that didn't work. So we're gonna start at the grassroots level and work our way up to try to implement the plan. So hopefully we'll see some movement in the next month or so. But I'll let Council Hines talk about that because this is her brainchild.
Thank you, Councilmember Brownson. Well, we'll move right into Ward 3 with Councilmember Hines.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First, I would like to just say that I had the pleasure of working in the camp POW, and I just enjoyed myself so much. It was organized. I am so sorry that we couldn't do everything that we wanted to do, but we did so much. The children, the staff, Officer McCleaves, I can't say enough about him. When I first came in, he knew every kid's name. He could tell you everything, okay? And I was like so welcomed, because they talk with the children. They have all sorts of different programs, but the trips that we went on, we had a race at the monument, and I'm not going to say who won, but but I should say who won. But it just all sorts of different things that we did. The bus. If you guys can come out, Friday is the last day. We're doing something big for the children, and so I just wanted to say thank you for letting me be a part of it, Chief Reese, and thank you. Also, yes, the meeting that we had on Friday. It was very informative. We got a lot done. We're getting ready to meet again. And it was trying to get, no child, goes into the school in in August with a balance. We just want everyone to be able to eat. That's the bottom line. And so, yeah, we're breaking ground in Forest Heights and all around. So thank you. That's my report.
Very good. I commend council on all the activity that's happening outside of the meetings in the community, engaging folks. That's very positive. Well, I'm glad to see so many faces in the audience tonight, because now it's time for the mayor's report, which I'll give. But first, I want to say that we were supposed to have a near catastrophic storm today, but there was a different plan, which I'm happy about. It's so good to see the room full of residents, young and old. We've got a large representation from the law enforcement community tonight, supporting our former officer and newly appointed town administrator, Mr. Jones. So those of you who are here in the audience, just remember the food is here at every meeting. So if that's an incentive to come out, and if it's an incentive to stay, please share that with someone else when you leave today. I'm frankly happy it's here, because those who know me know I rarely get a chance to eat. It's one of the last things I think about. So now that I have everyone here and we are mostly clear and mostly feeling confident that we're not going to have a catastrophic storm, in the event that we do have a storm, again, because we've had several this year already, I want to give you the information for a hotline that you can use as a resident any time of day. And this is especially for after hours. So when staff is not in the building, if you see or notice any downed trees in roadways or on sidewalks or any public places in the town, such as the public parks, please take down this number. You can call 301-381-4960. Again, that's 301-381-4960. The town recognizes that sometimes things happen and we need help immediately. In the most recent storm a couple weekends ago, we had trees that completely blocked roadways where folks could not come and go. And so we're sensitive to that, and this hotline will allow you to report those incidents so we can respond to them rapidly. Next, I want to recap a couple of events that we had this month. Last Tuesday, we celebrated a wonderful National Night Out, and many residents came out to enjoy that time with us. And if you're not familiar with National Night Out, it's a national initiative where law enforcement and community members get together to learn about one another, to have fun, and to have conversations in a non-confrontational environment. What this does is it fosters community and it fosters relationships so that the people that serve us and enforce the laws understand the residents who they are serving. It's an important element in the relationship being strong and in maintaining trust. I wanted to thank our police chief, Chief Reese, and the police department. I think it was an all hands on deck event. So appreciate all the officers who were there, all the residents who came out and who stayed. We also had some special guests. Our county council member, Ed Burrows, who's a county council member for District 8 in Prince George's County, came by. We also had our state senator, C. Anthony Muse, and delegates Veronica Turner and delegate Jamila Woods, who came by, and they like coming to Forest Heights. And we want to see them out more and more. And we will have plenty of opportunities for them to come and see us doing our best. I also want to thank the town administrator and Public Works who were on site and helped the event both before and after be well coordinated. Also, our town clerk was there, Ms. Sherlita Hawkins, and our new administrative assistant, Ms. Irma Zapian. So thank you all who attended. Code enforcement also had a table at National Night Out as we are preparing to have an open dialogue with community members and code compliance about the ordinances and resolutions that are on the books and how we can educate both sides so that we can adhere and we can also be sensitive to the needs of residents. So we have a few things that are upcoming that I want to update you about. As part of my plan as mayor, there's 4 points that I outlined that I want to have the administration work on. That's infrastructure improvements, community engagement and youth engagement, digital transformation, community beautification and economic development, and then planning for the future. And I'm very happy to announce that in the next month, we have something coming up for nearly all of those initiatives. As the ARPA project manager mentioned earlier, we have a sinkhole, which is an infrastructure problem over on Seneca Drive. That project begins on August the 9th. We also have an extensive project going on Arapahoe Drive, which will include Modoc Lane, portions of Shawnee Drive. It'll include Alden Way. And these projects are going to help repair issues that have persisted for many years. And they're a great start at showing residents how we're going to attack some issues that have been pervasive. We're going to work on our communication with making sure you're aware of what's coming. And I want you to know it's not the end, it's only the beginning. We're going to be riding these streets, canvassing and detailing the work that needs to be done so we can plan for it to be done in an efficient manner. We also have the Forest Heights Police Department and the PAL, which stands for the Police Activities League. Their summer camp is wrapping up, as has been stated on August the 11th. But if you are in the town and you are free, I would love for you to come out. We're going to have a ceremony where we recognize both the officers who have served as mentors to the children, and we're going to recognize the children for their outstanding participation, and the parents will be here as well. Can I get a time on Friday when this is going to happen so we can invite folks out who would like to participate? Officer McCleve, are you in the room, sir? Friday, August 11th at 12 p.m. noon. If you can come join us, please do. We're very excited about the response this year. And in fact, I've received emails from parents in the area whose children participated this year. And one of them is a teacher at John Hanson Montessori School, and two of her sons are here. And she had nothing but praise for the program. So we're looking forward to kicking going to be our first installment of this series. Said we've set a date for the Veterans Roundtable. That'll be September 27th. We have drafted several sheets in the capital improvement plan, which is one of my platform promises. This is something that we will deliver while I'm in the mayor's seat. So Cree Drive, which is a project that spans back over 2 decades. It has a large area where there's been land erosion for personal property owners. And then we have assessed the large scale stormwater issue that persists on that street. And we will be detailing what is required and estimations for cost so that we can get it into future budget plans for the town. We've got funding for Black Hawk Lane, which came through Congressman Ivy's office. That actually made it through the Appropriations Committee. So the Appropriations Committee has approved $850,000 for this project for the town. The next stop is for the president and Congress to pass it and then for the president to sign it. So we're excited and looking forward to that process moving forward. Right. And so to celebrate that, it's not been an easy journey. We expected to have the water up and running before the planting season. Now, obviously, we're at the end. However, it's still a win, and we are going to plan a ribbon cutting ceremony where we'd like residents to come out and just celebrate the kickoff for that. I don't see the super volunteers are not in the audience this evening, but yes, we have one. Miss Darlene Cooney's in the back. So just so you all know, Community Garden, we have 2 super volunteers who work very diligently with the Community Garden, Miss Kathy Clark and Miss Darlene Cooney, but the Community Garden is for the community. There are plots available for those who are willing to put in the work throughout the growing season to grow fresh produce on your own. And so we'll communicate that date forthcoming and look forward to inviting as many of you as would like to join us for the ribbon cutting. And with that, I conclude my very protracted report for this month. All right. Next, we'll move into new business. Is there any new business tonight from council members? Councilmember Brownson.
Nothing.
All right. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, the time 8:44, and this meeting is adjourned.